Yarek done smelled like engine grease, cold metal, and old memories, and he didn't mind. It was the smell of his tiny repair shop on Outpost Fata 4, a half-forgotten trading hub orbiting a red dwarf star. The station was noisy, crowded, and always smelled faintly of coolant leaks. But it was home. He preferred machines to people. Machines didn't lie. Machines didn't leave. Yarek pushed open the door to the station's bakery, one of the only places he visited besides his shop. He needed caffeine, not pastries, but the warm buttery scent always reminded him of Earth, of simpler times. The bell above the door chimed. That's when he saw her. A tiny alien girl, no more than 6 by human standards, stood at the counter, clutching a handful of dull metal coins. She was one of the Velithi, an insectoid reptilian species with wide, luminous eyes and soft chitin patterns. Like swirling constellations, her little mandibles trembled. The baker, an older 4-armed Lutheran, sighed deeply. Child, I told you yesterday, and the day before, a star cake costs 2 credits. You have 10 sous. That's barely a fraction. The girl lifted her hand, opening it slowly. 10 dull copper-colored suen clinked against each other, worth almost nothing. Please, she whispered. Her voice was soft, fluted, shaped by 2 sets of vocal cords. It's my mama's birthday. I want her to taste something sweet. I want her to smile again. The baker softened but still shook his head. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll pay for it, Yarek said without thinking. Both of them turned. The little alien girl's eyes widened like shining planets. The baker blinked. You will, the girl whispered. But I don't know you. Yarek shrugged. Don't need to. Birthdays are important. The girl looked down, tiny claws kneading nervously at her tunic. I only wanted the small cake. The one with the pink frosting. My mama likes pink. She says it tastes like warm clouds. Yarek almost smiled. Then the pink one, it is. The baker boxed the cake with a nod of gratitude. Jarek scanned his wristband, paying the 2 credits. The girl bowed deeply Velitha style, palms pressed together, antennae lowered. Thank you, human. My name is Leary, but you can say Leary. Yarek, he said, handing her the box. You take care of your mum, all right? Her small face lit up. I will. She'll be so happy. She ran off, clutching the cake like a treasure. Yarek watched her disappear into the station crowd. Something warm, something he hadn't felt in years, stirred in his chest. But that wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. The next day the bell chimed again. Yarek froze. There she was, Lyra, standing in his repair shop doorway, holding a tiny homemade paper flower. She scampered forward and placed it on his counter. This is for you, she chirped. Mama said humans like flowers. Yarek blinked. Yeah. We do. It is very bad, she said proudly. I made it myself. He inspected it. It was crooked, uneven, and absolutely perfect. Thanks, kid. But why bring me this? Leary shuffled shyly. Because Mama said when someone gives kindness, you should return light to them. His throat tightened. It had been a long time since anyone brought him anything. She peered around the cluttered shop, eyes sparkling at broken drones, dismantled engines, scrap metal, and tools. Do humans fix everything? She asked. Not everything, he chuckled. But I try. Leary stepped closer, antennae twitching. Can you fix people? Yorek paused. Not really. She tilted her head. Mama says kindness fixes hearts. He swallowed. Hard this kid was going to kill him. The trouble begins 3 days later. Leary came running into his shop again, but this time, she wasn't smiling. She was crying. Her luminous eyes were full of tears, her small chest heaving, antennae trembling violently. Leary. Hey, what happened? She grabbed his sleeve desperately. Humans fix things, she gasped. Please fix my mama. His heart dropped. Take me to her. Her mother, the Velethia, lived in a small cluster of chambers, carved into the older parts of the station, poor areas most people avoided. Leary led him into a dimly lit room where her mother lay curled on a woven mat, body trembling. Her chitin was cracked, pale, breathing shallow. Yorick knelt beside her. She has star fever, he murmured. It spreads in Loxygen districts. Why hasn't anyone helped? Leary's eyes dropped. We owe debt to the overseer, they say. They say healing is for those who pay. Rage surged in Yorick's blood. He scanned her vitals with a portable tool from his belt. She needed medical treatment immediately. Leary, your mum needs a real clinic, now. Leary's small hands gripped his tightly. Can you please save her? He couldn't promise that, so he didn't. But he lifted the Velethi woman into his arms. Hold the door, kid, he said. We're going. The overseers, men. They almost reached the clinic before trouble found them. 3 armed thugs in red armor blocked the way. The overseers, enforcers. Where do you think you're taking her? The leader sneered. Debtors don't get free treatment. Yarick stepped forward slowly, setting Leary's mother down against the wall. Back off, he said. She's dying, not our problem, the thug growled. Put her back and walk away, human. She's property. Yarick's jaw locked. Property, that word. He used to hear it on Earth, in the slums where his sister grew up, where she died because someone said she wasn't worth a hospital bill. No, not again. He raised his voice, not angry, not violent, but cold. She ain't property. She's a person, and she's getting medical care. The leader laughed. And who's gonna make us let her go, you? Yorek cracked his knuckles. Yeah, me. Humans are First punch landed like a shockwave. The second sent a thug sprawling. The third guy grabbed a plasma bat. Gorek blocked it with his forearm, grabbed his armor plate, and slammed him into the wall hard enough to dent the metal. The leader panicked. He's insane. Humans are insane. Jarak wiped blood from his knuckles. Glad we understand each other. The thugs scattered like rats. Leary stared at him, jaw dropped, antennae sticking straight up. You fought them like a warrior, Captain. He shrugged. I fix things. Sometimes that includes breaking the parts that threaten them. The clinic, the medics worked fast. Leary clung to Yarick's sleeve the entire time, trembling silently. After an hour that felt like a lifetime, the doctor approached. She survived, he said gently. She's weak, but with rest, she'll recover. Leary burst into relieved sobs, burying her face in Yarick's coat. His hand hovered awkwardly before he finally patted her head. It's okay, kid. She'll be all right. Through her tears, she looked up at him. You fixed her, she whispered. You fixed my mama. No, he said softly. I just got her to someone who could. But Leary shook her head. You fixed our world. A new beginning a week later. Jarek walked through the market district to grab lunch. He didn't expect to be ambushed, but he was, by a tiny alien girl launching herself at him like a missile. He stumbled as Leary hugged him with all 4 of her limbs. My mama is already standing again. She made soup, and she said you must come eat with us or she will crawl here and drag you. He laughed, a real one, the first in a long time. You Velithiate don't take no for an answer, do you? Nope. She took his hand confidently, and somehow he didn't feel so alone anymore. Days turned into something more. Jarek became a regular visitor in the Velithi district. He fixed broken heaters, repaired lights, patched leaking pipes. Nothing big, but to them, everything he fixed was a miracle to Leary. He was more than that. He was her hero. One evening, as the artificial sunlight dimmed, Leary's mother, now fully recovered, looked at him with quiet gratitude. You saved my child and me, she murmured. We have nothing to repay you with. Jarek shook his head. Did it because it was right. That's all, she smiled, antennae fluttering warmly. Then let us give you something you lost long ago. He frowned. What? A family, she said softly. The words hit deeper than any punch from the overseer's thugs. Leary tugged on his hand. Can you stay for dinner? Forever? He looked at her. At her mother, at their tiny home full of warmth, and for the first time in years, he felt like he belonged somewhere. Yeah, he whispered. I think I can stay a while. Leary cheered, her mother's eyes shone, and Jarek felt the cold loneliness of the station melt just a little more, because sometimes humans fix hearts. Tulare curled beside him, happily playing with spare bolts and gears while he repaired her broken toy drone. Human mechanics fix everything, she said proudly. Jarek smiled. Not everything, he replied, but we're learning. The little girl looked up at him with pure, gentle certainty. You fixed us. And Jarek knew. In saving them, they had saved him too. Asterisk,